I am the author of a book called Neesa. It is the first book in the original reality book series that is basically a contemporary romance. It's got a little suspenseful aspect to it, at least this particular book. But I'm actually coming to you to talk to you today about manifesting, but from an author's perspective. Uh, I've been on a spiritual journey now for a few decades. Well, I guess a couple decades. And um, I had the most interesting conversation with my friend the other day about manifesting. And I'll just tell you right now, I've studied, I've been studying or following people like Abraham Hicks. And but when I really got into the manifesting part was when a friend told me about this guy called Joseph Ally. And I will put a link down below if you've never heard of him, because he's he's the first guy, at least on YouTube. I've been watching all these videos on YouTube. YouTube is so great with this kind of content. But my friend turned me on to him, and I call it like manifesting for dummies, because he just breaks it down, and he's got a ton of videos online right now where he really breaks down the whole manifestation game. And his ideology comes from Neville Goddard. If you've never heard of him, check him out. It just kind of trickles down through the generations, I think. So, but Joseph really follows Neville's teachings, whereas most people who are familiar with law of attraction are more familiar with Abraham Hicks. But anyway, the conversation my friend and I had, we were talking about manifestation and writing, and I told her how there are times where I feel like as an author, I have manifested things in my real life from things that I have written in my stories, which would be fantastic if I haven't written some really kind of creepy characters in my books. And the book that I'm reading right now, called Neesa, has a stalker in her story. That's probably going to be kind of a spoiler, but really the whole book is, it's like this whole interplay between her and these two men, and one in particular who she thinks is stalking her, but really it turns out. But strangely enough, I have had things happen in my real life that kind of mirrored what happened in the book. Like even just today, before I did this video, I was thinking to myself, I was remembering how one time I was in my kitchen, and I live on the first floor of a very old building. I live in a tiny studio apartment in Los Angeles. And I was in my kitchen. Mind you, I was walking around in my underwear, because I live by myself, so no one's gonna see all of this. But anyway, I heard a noise outside my window. Like there's a huge window in my kitchen, and the blinds were closed, but they were angled to where I could see like just out of the bottom. And I looked, and it was the creepiest effing thing. I saw a pair of freaking legs standing there, facing the window. I don't even know how long he'd been standing out there. And he was just standing there facing the window, like clearly peeping, being a creepy peepy Tom. And I walked out of the room, and because I live in a studio, I have all these windows on one side, on the same side as that kitchen window. So I walked into my bathroom, which was also on that side. I think I waited until I saw him walk away. And I had to be careful, because that window's like up in the face, and I didn't want to like peek my face out and be like, because it just creeped me out. I didn't want to be like, surprise, And I just waited until I heard the footsteps drift down the alleyway, because this is basically an alleyway, like a driveway. And on the other side of that is an apartment building, another like townhomes. But anyway, it was just so freaking creepy. And I immediately, like, I switched the blinds. I turned them so that you can't see anything on the outside. I think I just had them turned the wrong way. And, but anyway, the whole experience was so creepy. And I also, but that's not what I was talking to my friend about. So my friend, I was talking to her about how she knows about, like, I have all these problems with my upstairs neighbor, and he's just been a nuisance since he moved in a couple years ago. And ever since the pandemic started and we're locked inside, he seemed to figure out that this is a great new opportunity to harass me. So what he'd been doing is going from room to room, following me. I called it, I at one point I was just like, he's stalking me in my home. Like, he's stalking me, following me from room to room. And it's a studio, so there weren't that many rooms. But that's what he was doing. So anyway, my friend was telling me how she also had an incident where she was basically waking up in the middle of the night, just dripping with sweat, and so she had to lay down, take a towel to bed with her, and lay down to keep from, I guess, sweating through her sheets. And she realized, oh my God, like, I had written that into my book. And I find this fascinating because I've started, I don't know, I noticed this a while ago and have been aware that, you know, what you write, how sometimes it can, I don't know, bleed over into your life. And so basically manifesting is focusing your thoughts on something that you desire, right? That's, you know, basically how I would define, or how I would have defined manifesting before I got turned on to Joseph Ally. But what I've come to realize now is that we are always manifesting. And what that means is, you know, like that whole, there's that whole saying, your reality is your perception. But really what I've come to learn is that that means that you're manifesting everything in your reality, whether you are aware of it or not. And how you're doing it is by your thought processes. So whatever you think is what it displays itself in reality. We kind of have our own reality. Our own reality is our own little world within this the major conscious reality. If you can gain control of your thoughts, the way you're thinking all the time, then you can control your reality. That is the theory. And I believe it wholeheartedly. I have tested it. And if you watch Joseph Ally's videos, he always talks about test it. Even Neville Goddard, you know, says, test it for yourself and see. And I did. I even did with this upstairs neighbor of mine. I would just get so frustrated with all the noise and harassment going on up there. And of course, the more it happened, the more I fixated on it. It was hard not to. This is my living space. And there were other ways that he harassed me with noise, but it was at times constant. And so it's hard to deny that kind of stuff and to train your thoughts on something more positive or something that I really want to bring into my reality. So, but I did try it, and I thought, okay, imagine that it's quiet and it's, you know, and it's, there's no disturbances going on, and that he could care less about what you're doing down there, but just focusing on how I wanted to feel in a quiet space. And when I could do it, I noticed that the activity would stop, or at least it wouldn't be as bad. Try focusing your thoughts on something that you really want to focus on, and do it consistently for a while, for, like, I'd say, like, even just a, you know, 5 days, you know, and see what happens. It's so funny how it works. I think there are a lot of people out there who are trying to work on their manifesting, and I recently got into scripting. Joseph had talked about writing things down, scripting, and for some reason that the scripting, the way he had described it, never really worked for me until I watched Shanetta Devine's video, and I was like, okay, I gotta really make a ceremony about this. So I bought a special notebook with a special pen, and I found some crystals lying around my home that were perfect for manifesting, and I started. I realized that basically scripting is like writing. And this is why, being an author, I feel like you have to be careful what you write. because basically when you script for manifesting, the point is to do it from first person point of view, right? So you have to picture yourself as the person receiving, right, your manifestations, whether it be like a car or a house or money, or maybe you want to have a baby, or you want to find your soulmate. It's all from your perspective, right? So, and that's how you have to script it. And even when you write it, you're supposed to write, I am. So in other words, I am grateful. I am happy. I am a money magnet. So basically, I am terminology. And if it's for things you want, you say, I have. So I have a Range Rover Evoque. That's my dream car. Don't hate, don't judge. Or I have a baby, or you know what I mean, things like that. So, and then even further, if you really want to go further with your scripting, you're supposed to write in a way that evokes a feeling. So you get as descriptive as you can. So like, you know, for me, it's like, I want a home, I want a house. And so when I script about it, I imagine myself in the house experiencing things within the home. So whether it's I'm cooking in the kitchen, or I'm taking a bath in a big soaker tub, or I'm sitting in the living room writing my books, sitting on a couch, you know, on the couch, and I'm imagining everything, like how the couch feels. I'm imagining my dog. I don't have a dog yet, but I'm going to have a dog. My dog sitting next to me. I have my coffee and I'm writing my stories, or, you know, just whatever it is that you want to manifest. Maybe it's you manifest you win the lottery, you literally see it in your hands. So in other words, you're not seeing someone else hold the lottery ticket, and you're not seeing yourself outside of your body holding the lottery ticket, the winning lottery ticket. You see it in your hands. It's like you're seeing this, right? And describe that moment. Describe what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, everything. It's very similar to writing. I write my books in first person. So whenever I sit down to write a book, I am in the character's point of view. Some of those details bleed into my life. Well, you know, I mean, honestly, when I made this realization, I'm like, Jesus, I'm never going to write a stalker story again. It's definitely going to be like all happy-go-lucky unicorns and wonderful stuff happening to the people in my stories. No, I'm just kidding. But kind of serious too. So I just wanted to tell you how I do it. And I think it will help people, even people who aren't writing books out there. I think it'd be helpful to know from an author's perspective how to script, how to write, because that's all I do is write. So I think there's a lot of you out there who maybe have a book in you, have always wanted to do that, maybe don't know you're not going to do that. Maybe you know you're not going to write the book, but maybe you still want to manifest. I mean, who doesn't want to get in control of their life and manifest good things into their life? And so I feel like I could teach you how you can kind of turn that into your scripting for manifesting. Drop a comment and we'll see about making more videos with this kind of content in it, because I do have quite a bit of experience with manifesting, and I would love to hear your experiences and what your journey has been like with manifesting so far. And if you know the people that I've mentioned in this video, give a shout out. I'm going to put links down below in the description, so check them out as well. Check out their YouTube channels and stay tuned. Also check out my other video where I'm reading my book called Neesa. It's almost to the end, so if you're starting now, if you're gonna start watching it now, go back to the beginning. There'll be links for that below as well. If you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as I put up the next video on more manifestation topics just like this one.